everybody. Welcome to episode 13 of the Intermission podcast, the show where two film students discuss classic, iconic, and obscure films from times gone by. We are your hosts, Oscar W. Fitchett.
Robbie Tweedale.
I thought you were going to keep it on for the entire thing.
No, yeah, we'll just hold it up for the full 2 hours, just like that. Excellent stuff. No, I mean,
Excellent.
It's me.
Excellent. This is the point of the podcast where we usually go, how have you been this week? We saw each, again, breaking the fourth wall completely. I don't give a shit. At this point in the chronology of the podcast upload, this would have been a week after the Citizen Kane podcast. But it was for us recording, Robbie, it's literally just the next day.
Yeah, we recorded that yesterday. So we're back at it again.
So there's no real updates other than probably the only thing we could ask was, how was your dinner? And then that's it.
It was cold. I've reheated it and it was still not great.
I've got coffee this time.
Excellent.
Oh, hang on.
Have you?
Tony Curtis is.
It's phasing into reality. There it is.
There you go. I have to put it over my face.
I've got.
I think I discovered why the coffee wasn't great. Because I said that I didn't have any coffee because the coffee that I did have was just minging.
Yeah.
And what I think it is that because my thought was it can't be the coffee because the coffee's just the coffee that I always have. Then I thought is it the water because we have a filter jug. And the filter was running out. However, that couldn't have been true because I also had a pint of water yesterday and that was fine. So I knew it wasn't the water. And then I thought, was it because I have some syrup in my coffee and I have a different make of syrup.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if that was it. That it still could be that. However, what I thought it might be was the kettle needed D-lime scaling. Okay. So the one that I use. So I think it's okay, but I don't know. I'm just...
Have a go.
It tastes better than yesterday, but I still think it might. I still think it might be the syrup I need to change.
Right.
It's not as metallic-y on my throat. So the lime scale.
To drink it.
Yeah, the lime scale was probably an issue with it in the kettle.
Yes.
But it still has a bit of an off taste to it, so I'm blaming it on the syrup. So
I've got a cup of tea today instead.
Very flower power.
Yeah, flower power. No milk because I'm that kind of sick bastard.
Do you have black tea?
Yeah.
Are you a black coffee guy?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
All right. Is that exactly how you always just black with your hot drinks?
Always.
No sugar?
No, I'm just a I'm just a lunatic.
I mean, sometimes I wish I could just drink straight black.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit of I like some sort of lightness to it.
Yeah.
Tea, I just have the tea, the water, and the milk. And that's
classic.
It. I done with sugar with tea. It's
the worst.
I used to have it loads, right?
Yeah,
I used to have it absolute loads. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and be a bit healthier with myself because I'm drinking tea every day. And so, if I just cut sugar off, then that would be healthier in my diet at least. And I used to have 1.5 spoonfuls of sugar in my tea. And I thought, I'll just do half a spoonful of sugar. And then I would ease off a little bit. But I thought, you know what? Stuff this. I may as well just cut completely off and just completely have it with no sugar whatsoever. And yeah, it's fine actually.
It's nice.
Yeah, and
it's lovely.
And then one day, I think this was a year or so after I actually had never, I stopped having sugar on my tea. My dad made me a cuppa once and was like, it might have even been my dad or my mum. It was probably my dad. He was like, right, okay. And he was like, oh, do you want a cuppa, son? I was like, yeah, sure. And then me not thinking to tell him how I want it because I just thought, well, he's made me it before, so I just assume he'll know it. And then he gives me the cup. I sip it, sugar in it.
Oh.
And then to which I realise he hasn't made me a cuppa in over a year. So that's why that's the issue there. And then you're in this awkward situation where it's like, do I tell them? Do I finish it? And then you try to, and then you get so far, it goes, oh, no,
but it gets more sugary
anymore.
As you go down to the bottom.
It do, and
it's
then
the worst.
You can feel like coat in your mouth, can't you? It's just like, yeah, maybe no, I should never do that ever again. So yeah.
Oh, I forgot to make my joke. Coming to you live from my deepest nightmares.
Yeah.
It's me in the Snyder Cut. That film that doesn't exist.
Before we, in anticipation when we eventually commentate on that, whatever the fuck that's going to be.
It's March. I'm pretty sure they confirmed the release date in March.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not gonna be good, is it? So let's just,
I mean, I thought that from the very beginning.
Look at him. It's not gonna be good.
I mean, I'm going to be seeing him for about over 2 hours, Robbie.
Oh, great. 4 hours.
No, I mean for this specific incident. We're not doing a 4-hour deep
I was
dive
gonna say.
into the film that we are going to discuss.
Oh, segue.
Which this week's discussion, is on the 1959 romantic comedy Some Like It Hot, which the film is directed by Billy Wilder, written by Billy Wilder and I.A.L. Diamond. It's based on a story suggested by R. Thorin and M. Logan. The film stars Marilyn Monroe, Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon, George Raft, Pat O'Brien, and Georgie Brown. The plot synopsis of the film, according to IMDb, is: after two male musicians witness a mob hit, they flee the state in an all-female band disguised as women, but further complications set in. That's a nice plot synopsis.
Yeah,
that's like a
lovely,
nice...
yeah.
Gets you... knows exactly what you got yourself into, but also intrigued. Like, oh, what are these complications, you say? Accolades the film holds is that it has a 95% on the tomato meter and an audience score of 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has an 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb, placing it at number 135 in their top 250. Excuse me. The film has a 4.1 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd, placing it at number 244 on their top 250. The American Film Institute holds it at number 22 in their top 100 films of all time. And for the British Film Institute's Sight and Sound top 100 greatest films of all time, it places it at number 42, tied with Pather Panchali, Gertrude, Pierre Le Fou, Playtime, and Close Up. The film won one Writers Guild of America award for Best Written American Comedy. It was nominated for the Golden Lion Award at the Venice Film Festival, which is the highest honour to have at that specific film festival. It was nominated for one Grammy Award for Best Soundtrack Album by an Original Cast for Motion Picture or TV. It was nominated for one Directors Guild of America Award for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Motion Pictures for Billy Wilder. It was nominated for 2 BAFTAs, including Best Film, and won 1 BAFTA for Best Foreign Actor for Jack Lemmon. It was nominated for 3 Golden Globes for Best Actor Musical Comedy for Jack Lemmon, Best Actress Musical Comedy for Marilyn Monroe, and Best Comedy Picture. And it was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including Best Black and White Art Direction, Best Black and White Cinematography for Charles Lang, Best Adapted Screenplay for Billy Wilder and I.A.L. Diamond, Best Director for Billy Wilder, Best Lead Actor for Jack Lemmon, and it won 1 Academy Award for Best Black and White Costume Design for Ori Kelly. Ori Kelly was also the costume designer for films like Casablanca, and he was quite the name for costume design, which I briefly learned in the golden era of Hollywood. So, Robbie, the reason why we're going forth with Some Like It Hot is because within our first discussion that we've ever had, we haven't really had a discussion. This isn't a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood situation where we've actually had conversations, debates about the film. We just know what each other thinks of the film. And for me, I'm a big fan of this film. I remember back, it was last year, I went through a bit of a Billy Wilder binge because I wanted to watch some of his films because I'd only seen The Lost Weekend years ago. And that's not really a film that you start with Billy Wilder in the sense of it's not really one of his more well-known ones, even though that won Best Picture. But it's not one of his more iconic ones or his more talked about ones. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go through all of his films. this was the first one I watched, and then I later on watched The Apartment and Double Indemnity and Sunset Boulevard, Stalag 17. I went through a bit of a Billy
Wilde.
I went Billy Wilde. And so, and Some Like It Hot was the first one I watched within that whole thing. And I just freaking love the film. I think it's like one of my favorite. I would say it's one of my favorite comedies of all time. I would definitely put it in top 5. Top 5? Top 10? Top 5? It's in the top 10 of my all-time favorite comedies. And I would feel comfortable in placing it up there with some films like, because I'm a big Charlie Chaplin fan, it's up there in some of the old Charlie Chaplin type films. I'm a big fan of such films as In Bruges. If you're on about dark comedies, I like Monty Python and Holy Grail in terms of more of the 70s absurd humor. Mm-hmm. So I think I have a wide range of comedic preferences, and there's just something about this film which we will discuss and delve into that I just like kind of latched onto. And I remember, and the second time I watched it was later in 2019 when I was going through, it was one of those times where I was going through a very stressful period in my first year of university, early on in uni. And I thought, I just need a lift me up type film. I just need a film just to kind of make me happy. And I sat with my mum and my dad, and we just sat and watched Some Like It Hot. First time they'd watched it. They thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a wonderful time watching it again. And this is my third time watching it this morning in anticipation for the Intermission podcast. So that's my thoughts and relationship with Some Like It Hot. Robbie, explain yourself.
Okay, explain yourself. Okay, first time I saw this film, I watched it because I saw it on Netflix, and I thought I'll give it a watch, and I watched it, and it was fine. It's I wasn't taken aback by it. I didn't hate it or anything, but I just it wasn't. I was fine with it. It was like it's whatever. I then got into a relationship, and it turns out it's both it's one of both my girlfriend's and my girlfriend's mum's favorite films ever. And then I felt bad, and then I talked to you about it, and you were like, "Oh my god, it's like one of my favorite comedies of all time." There, and I felt even worse about it.
I think the first time you mentioned it was it was before you got in a relationship with Julia.
Yeah,
I think I had my Letterboxd list because I was just looking up because I think we were talking about best comedies, like just in one of those lessons where nothing was really happening. And then a load of us were just chatting, and we were just talking about like some of the best comedies. I thought, let me just get up my list so I can like look. And I think you just saw Some Like It Hot there, and you just went, Some Like It Hot's shit. I went, shut the fuck up, Robbie. And then
that sounds about right, to be fair.
Yeah, and that's how that happened. And yeah,
I mean, and I've never rewatched it. I don't know if it's out of spite or what, but I've never rewatched the film from my first viewing until this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I sat down and I watched it whilst I was having my breakfast. Am I doing thoughts?
Yeah, we'll just go into it all.
Go straight into
it. Spoilers as well. Just if people are new to this would be a spoiler discussion.
Yes.
On Some Like It Hot. So if you haven't seen the film, go and watch it, come back. Or if you don't care, keep listening.
Right.
Yeah.
This time watching it, I liked it a lot more. It was very charming.
Mm-hmm.
It did make me laugh. I did enjoy it. But I think as an overview, I would say I enjoyed it a lot more this time. But again, and I know I have problems with my memory anyway, I don't think I'm going to remember a single thing from this film in a week.
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of... It's fine. It's a lovely little time, but it's not a masterpiece, you know?
That's fine. That's fair. That's fair. I can understand that. I do think this film in particular is how you personally feel about it as opposed to... I mean, that's every fucking film ever. I know that's a very contradictory thing to say. But I think with this specific film... I wouldn't argue with anyone who has that mindset. I mean, it's silly to argue about things like that. But yeah. I think for example, if someone said the same thing about, say, 12 Angry Men, I would be like, how could you think this is forgettable?
Yeah.
Like, how can you not think this is? Whereas this, because I don't think this is a forgettable film. However, I also think that it's not really anything groundbreaking or gripping, I guess you can say. There's nothing game changing about this film. I just think it's really fucking good at what it does.
Yeah.
That's where I land to it. And again, where it gets for me is it's more so I remember the warmth of watching the film that keeps me coming back to it. Which, even though it takes place in the winter, doesn't it? Yeah, because, it's snowy in Chicago. Yeah, even though it's sunny in Florida, but Florida always fucking sunny. So I think it's even a good film to watch around this time. I know we're recording this around Christmas time, but even in cold January, it's still it's the best way I could describe it. It is almost like that warm hot chocolate. Is the most perfect way I could describe some like it hot. It's nice and familiar. You may not have it every time, but when you do have it, it settles you in.
Yeah,
is the best way I can describe it.
I'll give it that. Yeah.
I'll run through some notes.
Yeah.
In terms of, I've also listed off things of I think I've got 11 listed things of moments that I found genuinely funny because with this film I was saying to myself, I'm not sure if I can necessarily analyze this the same way that we've analyzed other previous films, because I think this is the first comedy that we've talked about, isn't it? I think
straight up comedy.
Yeah. Because even though there's been humorous, no, It's a Wonderful Life. I wouldn't say that's drama comedy. There's but that's not straight up comedy.
Yeah.
So I was saying to myself, instead of analyzing this, because I don't think this film really is meant to be dissected. Although there is one element of it which I will talk about, in the sense of I think this is something that's interesting to look into. I'll just list off things that I noted down, and also list off moments that I found very humorous in it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you still got me there, Robbie?
I've still got you. I lost you for a second, but I've still got you.
We'll keep going on for as long as we can.
Yes.
Which will be the entire episode. But this isn't an Amber Roll, and if it needs to get edited, then it does.
Exactly. If this
fine.
podcast is 5 hours long, so bloody be it, alright?
Fuck it.
I'll do whatever.
The first note, have you got any notes as well, by the way?
Yeah, I've got some.
Okay, again, we'll just bounce back. I haven't got loads as well. I try to take this relatively leisurely with this one. I said first, I love that the film takes place in Prohibition.
Yeah.
It's just a cool setting, I think. I don't know, there's something about it.
Oh.
I lost you again.
This is excellent.
Hang on. I'm going to go downstairs and see if my dad's streaming something on Netflix.
We'll do that.
And
I'll cut this bit out.
Doing that. Okay.
I'll cut this bit
I'll be
out.
back. I'm sorry, everyone.
Cool. I'll start my point again, in case I
on.
had to cut that out. I'll flag
no
technical difficulties thing on there. I just said, first, I love the fact it takes place in Prohibition era. It's just something about that, the late 20s setting. There's a nice, vibe to it, I think.
Jazzy vibes.
Yeah, and I'm sure, we discussed this in the conversation.
Oh, no, not again. God damn it. What's happening? Hang on. I'm going to switch the Wi-Fi network on my laptop.
Take 3 on my point. I was
Take
saying,
3, let's do it.
First of all, I love the fact how the film takes place in the Prohibition era. As you were saying, it's got that jazzy feel to it. And as we've discussed in the Conversation podcast, we love a good jazz.
I love a bit of jazz. You like jazz? I do.
I thought you were, I don't know why I thought you were going to try and quote La La Land there, but you didn't, so it's...
No, it's B-movie. It's fine.
B-movie, that's right, yeah.
Goes straight from critically acclaimed, almost Oscar-winning B-movie.
Was it nominated for animated film?
Probably, surely not. I'd like to hope not anyway, Jesus Christ.
I'll check that after this. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's interesting because we're watching a film from the 50s, so it's an older film, but the film takes place in an earlier decade, so it's almost this. To us, to me, it's a bit of a weird like parallel. So it's like I'm watching a film that's technically a period film. Anyway, that's a period piece in itself. It's silly anyway, but it's just something I just thought there. Yeah. I just got there. The practical car chase is great. That's the thing I like a lot about this film. There's a lot of like cool practical moments and just how things escalate. Just from 0 to 100, which what makes it more comedic for me as well, I think. Yeah, and I got here. Production design is excellent.
Really good.
Good old production design.
Really solid.
The bit that first clicked for me is when they go to the funeral home, which is also the bar. And it's just that fucking door. And it's just like this. I forgot the exact line of dialogues that was said. But yeah, there's a lot of. I'm jumping all over the place with my word in here. But
that's cool.
I'll get to it anyway. Spatz's intro is brilliant.
Yeah.
I like it.
Really good shit.
Yeah. I tell you what. How about you say some shit with this? Because I've realised I feel like I'm just more so going through my points in a non-cohesive manner. So
yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the fact that the first named character that we meet on screen is an Italian man named Mr. Mozzarella. I don't. that really got me in the mood for a good old time. It was that whole first sequence is really good. I like how we instantly get an idea of those two as a pairing and as characters.
Yes.
They're clearly,
I love them so much.
Yeah, they're like scraping away, trying to get by. I don't understand what they've done because in my eyes, when I was watching them, I thought there's a backstory to these two, because how have they ended up being in a band for a mob boss? like they don't seem like criminals or anything. Like, I don't understand who have they murdered is what I'm saying.
I don't assume that. I assume more so like it's just a thing where it's like, we need a bass player and a sax player who's about, and then like we could do it.
Yeah.
Like just for any money. Like, because they keep scraping money in that. So I feel like they just did it. Saying like, throw caution to the wind. Okay, let's just do this.
Okay. I mean, like, how many murders have they been witness to in their time?
That's the thing as well. It's mental because it's like, this isn't just like kind of like a family-friendly screwball comedy
really
type
not.
of thing. But there's also just moments where it's like there's murder.
Yeah.
There's several murders. Like if I would have told you in Some Like It Hot, I would be like, the body count in Some Like It Hot is actually quite high.
It's unbelievable. It's like, I mean, near the end, it's like 7 guys go. At the beginning, that's got to be like another 10, 15 that are all lined up on that wall, including the petrol guy, who did nothing, by the way. Poor man. He seemed like a lovely guy. But it's surprisingly dark.
Yeah.
Especially for something from the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was quite surprised with that.
Yeah, in terms of the characters of Joe and Jerry, I kind of wish, like, those characters and the dynamic between Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis, they're begging for sequels. They really were. I would have loved to have seen like a series of films of these two's misadventures.
Yeah, just getting into shenanigans.
Yeah, because it's like, you could do so much of like 2 musicians just trying to scrape by.
I was going to say, it's a very novel concept that you could have gone anywhere with, really. It doesn't even have to be the next one's them dressing up as women. It could have been them doing some other thing.
Yeah, you could have done, and like do a different bombshell each film. You know, like have a bit, like, I don't know, Audrey Hepburn's in the next one, or Rita Hayworth, or whoever was like the in thing as the films are coming out type of thing. Kind of like a James Bond, but with like bumbling musicians.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you could have done a Christmas special. You could have done a summer special. You could, and I think it's because of their dynamic as well. It just works. Like they both like bounce off each other so well.
There's so many times when Joe just cannot believe what Jerry said, and it's the funny, like when he introduced himself as Daphne, which was the first bit that really got me. I was like, that's hilarious. And
I'm gonna
straight from there, he gets way too into it. Like, straight from the off.
just so, and it's like, and again, it's like I've got a list of here. It's like I love the dialogue is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so snappy and witty and everything. And it's just that moment where Joe's proper, like, they first get on the train and Joe's like, oh, gonna have some butter and pastry. And then it's like, no, but we're on a diet. And then it's like later on in the scene, it's like they find Marilyn Monroe who plays Sugar Cane. And then he's like, no pastry, no butter, and no sugar. It's just like fun, like, it's just like nice
It's
little
great.
snappy dialogue that all weaves into one.
And it's so, the performance as well, the way it's been directed, for them to, like, they've clearly been told it's just keep it going. It's a rhythm. And you've just got to keep going with it. And it works really well, especially with those two.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Lemmon gives off old school Jim Carrey vibes, I think. But like a bit more like restrained, I think. That's the best way I can describe Jack Lemmon in this film. It's like he's restrained Jim Carrey. Like he's goofy, but he's never like... That's the main thing that in terms of comparing to modern comedy, I think a lot of goofy, silly performances are almost unrealistic.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, we've discussed this. I'm not necessarily a big fan of 90s comedy Jim Carrey.
No.
Or but you even look at like actor like Adam Sandler did similar things, or like there's these actors who are just all wacky and mental and all like flexible limbed and that in a story that's meant to be set in the real world.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Like they're not a cartoon. Whereas Jack Lemmon in this film, he's silly and he's goofy. But I think there's still but he's like, but he's a goofy guy that I can imagine about.
Yeah, not to a point where he's like, you would not know this person. This guy does not exist. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But I think the way that they play off each other in terms of Joe being the straight man to it the whole time, basically, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've noted here that I think I like how neither Joe and Jerry are strictly one character type. Like they in the beginning, like Joe's the one trying to get Jerry in all these like stupid situations.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh, we can do this, and then Jerry's like, fuck's sake, Joe, no, why? Why? And then it gets to the place, and then like Jerry's the one being like, oh, let's do this, and Joe's like, fuck, stop it, pack it in, which is like how real life people are. Like that, like brings more of like, I think it brings more of like a rounded example of two friends.
Yeah, because it's Joe that has the idea in the first place, and Jerry don't want to go along with it, and once they get there, Joe's regretting that he did it in the first place.
Yeah.
Whereas, as I said before, Jerry gets far too into it far too quickly.
That's what I mean. I think that's more real, like, or like more relatable. Not relatable is the best way to say it in a sense, because we all have mates, but it's like not one of us is like, oh, well, I'm the silly one. He's the straight man. It's like it's like if you're mates, you're both going to do stupid shit at some point.
Yeah, you're just people.
And one of them's going to tell the other person to like, pack it in. Like at some point.
Yeah.
Like, I bet there's points where Leo's told you to sort yourself out in that sense, and also vice versa.
Yeah,
it just happens, and that like makes it more of like an invest in friendship, I think.
And there's been times with us too where you've told me to stop being a fucking idiot on multiple occasions. Like when I was fighting Jack that one time.
In all fair, I also technically started it, so there's also that.
Perfect example. But yeah,
I realised my mistake.
What's my next note? Another bit that got me, just going back a little bit in the opening sequence.
Yeah.
Is when they were talking. He says about his lawyers, and just all the people around him stand up at once, really threateningly.
But they're from Harvard.
Yeah.
I'll list off like my like all the moments that I just like proper laughed at. And
Yeah, go on.
This is in order of appearance in films, so they're not in order of my preference of which I found funnier. One of them
Rank them right now, 1 to 10. Go.
Blimey, I can't do that. This is in order, and I'll tell you which one I found the funniest. I'll say that one.
Okay.
At the beginning, refresh my memory. Spats Columbo. That's refreshing. There's Jack Lemmon's and Tony Curtis's first conversation, talking about the dentist and the horse betting conversation and the horse betting and that. Again, just instantly knowing this the whole dynamic, and it's just so like it was just funny. Just like talk. It's like, how do you get to the dentist? Why? You gonna just blow your money all on that type of thing?
Yeah.
The escalation of the police raid, found fucking hilarious. Like it's
so
like
funny.
Like they're just like, they're playing, the band's being played, and then the police puts his badge on, and then all of a sudden a door just gets booted down, and then everyone just fucking like piles in. It's just, it's like that. That's some of my favorite comedy, just in anything. Like go from like just one thing to an extreme another thing. Like it's just like it's just like the thing that it's. The comedy that just takes you so off guard that you can't help but just laugh about a situation.
It's very good, this film, at doing the 0 to 100 really quickly.
Yeah.
To a point where it's hilarious.
But it doesn't do it regularly. Like it does it like throughout. Like we have moments where it's just a good like 30 minutes of just like witty dialogue. Yeah. And then we get a random mental thing that just happens out of nowhere, and that makes it even more. But it's happened before in the film, so it doesn't feel out of place. But it doesn't happen too often where it's still funny.
Exactly.
So, and also the gag of, I want another cup of coffee. Just that dude just...
That guy. Like, do you know what I found hilarious about that, right? Is that is... essentially the Lucky Coat guy from Godfather 3.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying the same thing over and over again. And here, it fits because this is a comedy.
Yeah. Oh my God, literally, if Godfather Part 3 was a Billy Wilder screwball comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been one of the funniest fucking films I've ever seen in my life.
Then Lucky Coat fits.
Yeah.
As it stands, as Godfather 3 being whatever it is, it's just so weird.
But it's like, it's the thing. The joke gets funnier as it kept going. The more it was said, it's like the first time he did, he spilled his drink, and then he's getting taken away. He's like, I want another cup of coffee. It's like, get it, because it's not coffee, it's alcohol.
Yeah,
okay. And then the police raid come in, and then he comes still waddling out, going, I want another cup of coffee. He goes, wait, what the fuck? And then like when everyone starts running out, and then he comes out of the club going the other way with the cup in the air, just still going,
and then he's still saying
another cup of coffee,
and he's still saying it whilst he's getting arrested as well. Like you see him starting to get carted off by the police. It's great.
It's
really
stuff like that
stuff.
where it's like that's an example of a joke just getting funnier the more it's said.
Yeah, it's a really great recurring gag.
But it stopped then. Like, it would have felt real. Again, if this was a comedy that came out 50 years later, it probably would. He would have come back on the train or something.
Yeah, and he'd been on the beach or some shit. Like,
and then on the butt, like it would have been things like, "Fuck's sake, I get it."
Yeah,
but like they kept it there, and that was it, and we never hear from him ever again.
Oh yeah, I think the difference between a film like this and a modern comedy is that this seems to be genuinely sharp, witty, written dialogue jokes that the people have stuck to the script on because the script itself is funny.
Yeah.
Modern comedies now, it's heavily edited improv.
Yeah.
They just kind of put, say, a Kristen Wiig, who I genuinely think is really talented, and a Melissa McCarthy, who I genuinely think is Melissa McCarthy. And they just kind of go, now do your thing that you do.
Yeah, and it's fine, but then sometimes you need like there's like because why like I've some of the funniest recently I've discovered some of the funniest films I've seen recently, or just overall. I think some of my favorite, funniest films are films written by writers who don't just strictly write comedy.
Yeah.
And they don't strictly stick within the comedy genre. Because Billy Wilder, he's done some film noirs, he's done war films.
Yeah.
But he's also done some fucking hilarious writing. And also, recently, one of my favourite, I love, like, In Bruges is a dark, dark film, but there's so many lines in that which
it's funny.
And also, another example of a film that I think's very fucking funny. Again, you disagree with me on this shit, but I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood being one of my favorite types of funniest films. But that's because, and Tarantino isn't a comedy writer, but he's structured a scene carefully, and he's just let his actors just read those lines, and they're funny interactions, I think. And I think that's also a thing where sometimes, it's improv comedy can work really well. But sometimes you need a well-structured joke that's been pre-planned, that just works in all the planned ways. Like, it's like the camera's going to pick up on this person at this exact moment, and that person's going to say that line at that exact moment when that person finishes saying their line, and then that action happens then. Like, it's the structure of, again, and I'm not a comedy person, but I know when things are funny to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, but also there's that. I want a cup of coffee. There's another one here of the Garage Massacre escalation.
Oh my god, yeah.
And it's the bit where the Spatz's crew just drives in. That's, again, just instantly just goes from 0 to 100. It's like, yeah, we need a car. Okay, then. Goes to a car. Just skirt out, guns out. That, and then we're just in the situation. It's just, and then it cuts to, like, them just kind of stood, like,
it's completely unwarranted. Like, why does it keep happening to these two?
That's another thing that I love so much. Like, just these, I think I've got it in my notes somewhere, but like, I love the storyline of just two characters constantly in shit. Like, just constantly getting shat on. Like,
it's always funny.
It just always is. And it's always their reaction. Like, because they could even be like, or they could just be like, but when it gets to it, it's even funnier when something happens and then they just kind of go, like,
yeah.
like,
it's why to me Spider-Man 2 works so well. Like, it's 2 hours of just Peter Parker being shit on, and it's always funny.
Yeah.
When you're just beating a character down, or in this case, a duo. Yeah, you're just beating them down for a full 2 hours. It's always hilarious.
Because I've got that there. The editing is fantastic. It enhances the comedic timing even more. Again, when it just cuts to just see Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis, like, just their reaction of just being like, or like, shit. Like, it's like, and that's the thing. It's subtle comedic acting in the sense of it's not like Spats Columbo comes screeching in the garage, cut to them, crash zoom on them, like, oh no. It's not like, they're just like, they just freeze and they're like, hide. Like, it's just like, it just adds to that. Like, I think that, because again, I mean, we'll talk about Chaplin again at some point in the pod, just specifically Chaplin in a podcast
I would
at some point.
Really like to.
But like, I love all the slapsticky stuff within Chaplin's silent things. But some of the funnier moments in some of Chaplin's films is when something just happens and he just freezes and he just has this look on his face like, oh no, it's blended. Thinking about it, discussing it now, this film is almost a perfect blend of silent slapstick comedy and really witty dialogue comedy.
It is, because there's a lot of slapstick within it.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, the entire point of them being dressed as women is massively slapstick on its own.
Yeah.
In the way that they pull it off. But yeah, it's still a really sharp, witty written script.
Mm-hmm.
Carrying the whole thing. So yeah, it's a really interesting blend.
Yeah. Another bit of the funniest moment I've got is just most of Jack Lemmon's scenes.
Yeah.
Anytime that man's on screen, I fucking love him. Love him so much. I think I started hooking in when they're on the train and he's Daphne. And that performance could be very hammy and very annoying. It could be. It very well could easily be, but it's somehow still really funny and charming. Not charming to an extent. It's almost but it's just it's just some of the stupid moments of like, again, he thinks he's got things all figured out. He's like, oh, I've got sugar 1-to-1 in me bed. We're gonna be drinking, and I'm just, and then just everyone's like, oh, is there a party? And he's like, oh, fuck's sake, damn it. And he's like, everyone leave, and then Sugar's leaving. He's like, not you. And then,
it's funny to me that first 10 minutes, like when they're on the train and everything, he's like, he still seems to think he has a chance. I don't understand why, because he knows that he's dressed as a girl and that he's pretending to be a girl, but he seems to have convinced himself that Sugar thinks he's a man.
Like, oh, she won't freak out if I tell her.
Yeah, but he's like, oh, I've got Sugar in my bed tonight. Did you see how she looked at me and all this? And it's like, well, yeah, but you're a woman. You're dressed as a woman.
See, remember, you're a girl. You're a girl. You're a girl. And that's another thing. Like, the Ryan is so fucking good in the sense of there's like jokes that link back. Like beautifully again, like you're a girl, you're a girl, you're a girl, and a lot later in the film where he's like, I'm getting engaged. He's like, you're a boy, you're a boy, you're a boy. It's so just stupid. But again, Jack Lemmon, I could like watch that man in any I could just like, I need to watch more of him actually, because I know, was he the original Odd Couple? I think so.
I don't know. I couldn't.
No, I don't think he was the original one. I can't remember. He was in A Odd Couple. Either way,
okay.
And he was also Juror 8 in the 1997 TV movie of 12 Angry Men.
Oh, there you go.
Which I can see that very well in.
Very good, yeah.
Just most of Jack Lemmon's stuff. Osgood and Jack Lemmon dancing.
It's so dumb. It's so unbelievably dumb. Osgood, just as a character, confuses me to no end. I think
he is a giant question mark, isn't he?
Yeah. Do you know what I think it was when I first watched this film and really didn't enjoy it the first time, and this time where I've thought like, yeah, it's all right, is I think it completely depends on whether you buy into the world of this film.
Yeah,
because
definitely, yeah.
If you watch it in the way that I watched it the first time, I took the stance of everybody in this film's a moron. Every single person. And I told Julia, I messaged Julia this afterwards because she was saying, how are you liking Some Like It Hot? Do you like it better and all this? And I said to her, I'm liking it better, but everyone is still a moron, right? And she goes, but that's the point. And I was like, to be fair, it is the point. Like, but everyone is so stupid.
Oh, everyone's dumb as fuck.
Like, Osgood is stupid. To an extent, Sugar is stupid.
There's she's. I think she's a lot more of a complicated character than people might even.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first time that I've looked at her in the sense like there's something more about her than just a simple thing.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of discuss her as like a separate point entirely. Cool. But yeah. When Tony Curtis stood out of the bath.
Excellent stuff.
It's when he's just silently standing up. And again, it's just my type of fucking humor. I can't explain it. It's just funny.
It is good.
Like wig and all, but like still in the suit.
I think it got to a point where I think that's another thing of escalation, is that it gets to that point in the film where he is now a man pretending to be a woman, now pretending to be a different man. Like, he's not just doing what I think would be a less funny way to do it, which would be to just take it off and try and be himself, but just lie and say that he's a millionaire. He goes into another character, like a third one on top, for no
He's got
reason.
some random accent.
Yeah, it's like a South African accent or something. Like it's really weird, and like, for absolutely no reason at all. But it just works because it's that escalation of just pushing a situation to its maximum of comedic value. And I think
It does get to the point where they're in like the bedroom after when Joe's been with Sugar as another man, and Jerry's been with Osgood as Daphne, and they're in the bedroom, and then it begins to think, it's like, wait, these are two characters that we started off watching just as like two dudes who are in a band, and how have they got to this situation? But the thing is, if I told you this situation of just two blokes in a band running away from a mob hit are now in a situation where they're in a Florida hotel where both of them are pretending to be women, but one of them's also pretending to be another dude, and the dude who's just pretending to be a woman is now engaged to a random bloke that he found. Like, you would be like, what? How the fuck did that get there?
How was it got to that?
But when watching the film, it somehow just all works, and you're in on the ride.
It
and you
all
understand
just comes naturally.
You understand their thought process through the entire arc of it, which then also questions how insane is the human mind to where that's a natural place for us.
Exactly. What I find funny about that scene in particular, where Daphne's just got engaged, is that Joe comes back and he's kind of still in character as well.
Yeah.
So now you're watching these two people who are completely not the two people that you started off with, because they're both stuck in their characters for some reason.
It becomes almost jarring when they both take their wigs off and the hat off for that one moment. And you go, oh yeah, Joe and Jerry.
Sure. It's so weird.
Not Josephine and Daphne. Shit, I forgot about that.
The whole thing with Daphne in that scene confuses me to no end. I thought she'd like completely lost her mind. I was like, what is happening? Why is she so excited to be engaged to this weird guy?
He got so hooked on it. He got so involved.
Who, like every guy in this film, is an absolute creep.
Oh, they're all fucking like...
Everyone's the worst. That little bellhop dude is...
right, he's the only issue that I kind of have with the film, is that you can cut it. He hasn't, like... There's things that you can pick out in this film in the sense that hasn't aged well, but I can forgive a lot.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of Jack Lemmon stuff on the train where you can be like, But then I'm like, no, you can get away. I think you can get away with that. But not when you got the little bellhop guy, like, don't worry about leaving the door unlocked. I've got a key. It's like, oh, no.
Dude, leave it. Go away.
It's like, why am I thinking about a possible rape happening? Of course, that wasn't like, Billy Wilder wasn't right in the film being like, ha. It was just like...
And like he keeps doing that weird thing where he pulls his bow tie away and snaps it back, like, "Hey, look at me! I've got a bow tie. Look how cool I am. I'm wearing a bow tie. You're not cool. You're wearing a bow tie."
I got here as well. The boat being in reverse was just.
I did enjoy that quite a lot.
The funny scene. I think I got two more points that I found really like. Yeah, I got two more funny moments that I. Thought that the golf club's guns thing, just it's simple, but it's just.
What I found funny about that was that he doesn't just pull out a Tommy gun. He pulls out a Tommy gun, but he's still got the end of a golf club on it, like just shoved down the barrel.
I love how like Spatz's goons are just dummies as well.
Yeah, they're just idiots. Because they're all like, every time someone finds it, like that one where it falls out that guy's pocket, he's like, it's not loaded.
And then just
so many bullets. It's so dumb.
And then the last bit that I found really fucking amusing was, don't mess up the cake. I promised I'd bring back some for my kids. So it's like, wait, hang on.
There's some of the one-liners are excellent. The bit like, specifically with the cake where he's like, oh, there was something in the cake that disagreed with him. Excellent.
That's what I mean. There's so much of this shit where it's like, was this like the origin for like a load of dads to be like, let me like start thinking of my own jokes? Like, did Billy Wilder unintentionally start dad humor?
I think he might have done.
Yeah,
because that's the kind of shit my dad would come out with.
Oh yeah,
Just randomly.
same.
If my dad
yeah.
was a mob boss, I'm not saying he is. I'm not confirming or denying.
But it's like that, like just that again. It's just, then I start because then I'm sat there thinking to myself, wait, so is this mobster? Is his like day? Is this? Does he treat like the mob as just his day job? Like he's like, oh, honey, I've got a hit. I need to get this giant cake because we're gonna put a dude in it to shoot another dude. He goes, oh, well, make sure you bring back some cake for the kids. They'll like it for their dessert. He goes, I'll try.
It's like, what's that guy's story?
Yeah,
I want to know what that guy's story is. Also, one thing I loved in that whole scene, the big mob boss guy's really old 1920s hearing aid. Excellent. So good.
No reason for it to necessarily even. It's like it was there just for like the joke of him turning down his hearing aid when Spats is getting gunned down. Like that's it. And then the other.
Because it took me a good 5 minutes to realise it was a hearing aid.
Yeah.
I was like, what's fucking Lobot from Empire Strikes Back doing here? I was like looking at him, like that's exactly what I thought was happening. I was like, why has he got this weird mechanical thing coming out the side of his head? And then I realised it was a hearing aid and felt like an idiot for a good like 10 minutes. I can't remember the context, but I wrote down yeah with a load of E's, and I'm pretty sure it was the police officer who goes like, yeah, at one point, and I can't remember the context in him saying it, but it just really made me laugh.
Can't remember it either. But
It's so dumb.
I'm just scrolling through my thing there to see if there's anything that. Oh, that's another thing. No, I'll save that for when we, because I think. Yeah, I'll save that for when we solely talk about Sugar as a character, because I think that's something. Because yeah. Most Jack Lemmon. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I said that. Oh, yeah. I got it here of just side note. As adults, what are you meant to do in the water when you get in the pool? Like when you get in the ocean? Like, it's like, because when they're all just in the pool, it's like, I really like when you're kids and you get, it's like, right, kids, get in the pool and just play.
Yeah.
It's like what you just like splash about, tit about, and all that.
Do what you want.
As adults, what the fuck do you do?
Just do lengths and that, I guess.
But like you're in the ocean.
Oh, well, probably don't do that then.
So that's my thing. It's like it's nothing to do with the film in a sense. I just noticed that let's go to the ocean. That's all. Like it's like what and play. Like what are you like? What's the...
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 20s. Maybe it was different. Maybe are we just
I'm
cynical?
thinking about
like
what I would do, and I don't know. Except like stand on someone's shoulders and drown him.
Yeah, like if it was like, oh, hey lads, let's go to the pool, or like let's go in the ocean. Way, and then you get in there, you go. Right now, what? Now you're just treading water.
Yeah, you're just kind of like trying to stay afloat for a good.
Because then if you splash someone, then you can be, why are you being a dick?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you splash someone as a kid, it'd be like, haha, and then you just start like everyone would start splashing each other, and it'd be a fun fight. If you do it now, it's like, don't be a cock, mate. Come on.
Yeah, it's like, oh, but you know, it's a bit of like,
don't be a prick.
It's a bit of a laugh, though, isn't it? It's like you've just got salt water on my fucking eyes, mate. It's not not funny at all. It's like I guess the only thing you could do is just like lob a ball, but then you just go on the shore and do that. Like you would, let's go in the ocean and throw a ball. It's like, why can't we just not be wet?
Why can't we do that where there isn't a risk of drowning?
See, that was just a point that was just a point that I thought in my head. Just in that moment, I was like, "What's the like?"
That is such an to those listening that don't know you as a person. That is such an insight.
What do you mean?
Just like that's the most you thing that you would think in the middle of that.
It was
like if we went swimming as adults, what would we even do? That is such an Oscar thought. That if someone doesn't know you as a person when listening to the podcast, you can listen to that bit and go, I understand now. I get that.
I don't even understand how that's meant.
I genuinely don't know, but it just.
That's a new thing for me to be. I was like, but okay.
I was like, only Oscar would bring that up.
I mean, you're right. No one will be watching Some Like It Hot when they're all just messing about in the ocean and be like, wait, what the fuck are you even meant to do?
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Are those people having fun? Get out of town.
All right.
No, I'm joking.
Fun? What the fuck is that?
What's that about? Oh, God.
Is there any more like specific points you want to make about the general film before we get into Monroe specifically?
I would like to just say that the ending is one of the most classic endings of all time.
Yeah.
As much as I think the film is like absolutely whatever, like it's fine. I enjoy it for what it is at the time, but that ending is perfect.
I love it
It's
so much.
so funny. It is spot on.
Like, it's like, because they could have very well just like rolled credits with Joe and Sugar kissing in the back of the boat and then roll and then the end. But no, like that happens, that arc's concluded, and then they decide to end it of just this funny banter of just like of Jerry trying to convince Osgood of like, right, we can't get married, and he's like, and I love how he's trying to keep his feelings like
yeah, he's trying to not hurt him
because he could have very well have instantly be like, look, I'm a bloke, like instantly, but he would be like, wait, I won't fit in your mother's dress. We can get it refitted. He goes, I smoke. I don't care. I'm not a natural blonde. I don't mind. He goes, I can never have children. We can adopt. And then, and then he just goes, look, I was like, I'm a man. Well, nobody's perfect. And then he just...
It's actually fucking perfect. And his face is priceless. It's excellent.
Jack Lemmons. Yeah, just...
Like the weird smile on his face as well is just perfect. Absolutely excellent.
And then it just ends. And then, again, like, I think that fits better. Because I think it would have been a lot more... It wouldn't have fit if they just took off. Like, the two of them. You could have done an ending where the two of them take off and leave Osgood and Sugar behind.
Yeah.
You could have done. But I don't know, that just doesn't feel right for everything that's been built up.
Yeah.
Like, specifically for them. Yeah. So it's I mean, I don't necessarily think it's like, oh, Joe and Sugar lived happily ever after. I mean, if you want to extend my theory of the film, I don't think they like I don't think it was like, oh, it all ended up perfect for them. Because I don't know, that's just me. Probably not, because it just you know, those two people as people, they just won't like last.
It just doesn't make sense. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. And obviously, I don't think exactly. And also, I don't think obviously the thing between Jerry and Osgood wouldn't have continued. It just wouldn't have. I like to think I like to think they might have still just kept in touch, but just as like, how are you doing? I'm doing all right, type of thing. And then Joe and Jerry would have just kept doing their shit.
Yeah.
They would have just kept going on, which is why I think it would be amazing if there would have just been a few more films following these two characters. Like, I think that would.
It feels like a real missed opportunity. Now that you've said it on here, I feel like it is genuinely a missed opportunity that they didn't do more of these.
Like, I didn't think about it until this viewing today when I'm watching them. I'm like, I go back to the film because I like those two characters. And it's the situation they're in. Because I've got note down, like, there's no... where's that? There is not one uneventful moment in the entire film.
No.
It's just a load of constant things happening. So, and it's entertaining because we know these two characters almost. And just doing daft shit. That's why I think, like, if, like, these two characters in different situations, I think that would have been fucking brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Again, probably wasn't even in any intent for Billy Wilder to continue these two characters at all. probably no intent at all, just did this one-off film and that was it. But I think it's like now, obviously this was 1959, not a time period for like sequels or like continuations. You know, a film was one and done. Like it was very rare any sequels were happening unless if you were... No, because even Bond came about in 62. So this wasn't even a franchisey time period anyway. I guess like the Universal monster movies.
Yeah, because they were quasi connected.
Yeah, but also Laurel and Hardy. But then again, that was more based off the fact of those two being a comedy act.
Yeah, they were a duo anyway. They'd done things before films and
yeah.
You know.
And Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, it wasn't Lemmon and Curtis. It was just these were two actors who got cast in this film, written by Billy Wilder. So it wasn't like they were a duo that continued doing
like
films.
He accidentally made excellent characters. Like he accidentally stumbled on an excellent comedy duo, and it is a shame that they didn't do more things.
I mean, Joe and Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry and Joe. Like, you know, it's like, it just, like, the characters' names itself just works of, like, rolling off the tip of the tongue type of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
Like the Jerry and Joe films. And then it could, again, missed opportunity. Nothing could be fucking done, obviously. Unless we time travel, but that can't happen. But it's like, I think that says a lot about how good these two characters were, how we're talking about them being like, I can imagine loads of films with these two.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame. But these could have been like one of the most, you know, one of the comedic duos that people talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
From this era, but sadly, we didn't have that.
I think you could look at them in the sense of like, I would still say that like Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon are one of my favorite comedy duos.
Yeah. For
this one film. It's like how I kind of say, like, I love Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a comedy duo. They're not, but the films they've been in, they're amazing, they're really dynamic.
Well. Yeah. I suppose it's testament to this film on its own being as iconic as it is, I suppose.
Yeah.
Really?
Definitely. Now I want to talk a little bit about Marilyn Monroe in the film. Because unintentionally, we've kind of just, like, not talked about it, but... And she is the most... And she is probably the most iconic person in the film. Well, she is the most iconic person. Like, and this is the... I want to iterate as well. This is the only Marilyn Monroe film I've seen. I haven't seen any others yet.
I haven't.
Yeah, and she's also someone that I know about. I know about her more than I know of her. Like... I know that she's apparently a very tragic story. Like, her story is quite a very... It's quite a dark, tragic tale, actually, within just generally her life. And it's something that I wouldn't mind looking up more about her as a person. But with that in mind, I'm just talking more about her in this film. It got towards... again, this is the first time. I've seen this film 3 times now. This is the first time that I've actually thought myself, you know what? Marilyn Monroe is really fucking good in this film.
She is. She's really good. It was one of the only notes that I wrote down, was the fact that she's actually really, really good.
Yeah, and I noted it's the moment where she's on the phone to whoever Tony Curtis playing the billionaire.
Yeah.
And
Shellman.
Yeah, and I know it down saying it's easy to overlook Marilyn Monroe in this film, but she is really good. And she's obviously a sex symbol, and just generally, and obviously the introduction we have with it again. I think another brilliant character introduction. I think the character introductions in this entire film are fucking excellent. When we first see Joe and Jerry, it's them playing the instruments, and then it's just like. Zoom on them. First time we see Spats is him walking in, and then they also make an effort to emphasize his spats. And obviously Osgood as well, reading the paper with the line of all the other rich people, but he's wearing dark clothing to make him stick out from all the people wearing white clothing.
It's something that isn't done as much.
Yeah, I think you mentioned. When did you mention it? You mentioned it in another podcast.
I think
Jurassic Park. It was Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
You mentioned it.
where it just they don't do it anymore. Like the example that I always pull up was the latest MCU Spider-Man film, where the beginning is meant to be like this homage to Indiana Jones, and the shot they reveal Nick Fury in, who's going to be an important player for the rest of the film, is just this really wide shot, and he just gets out of an SUV and walks somewhere. Like, it's not like a reveal or anything. Like you'd at least do like something under the car, and you see his foot step down or something. Like nothing. Yeah. It doesn't happen nowadays, which I think is something that is sorely missing in films these days. A good character introduction.
But the first time we see Marilyn Monroe, the character of Sugarcane, it's instantly we get exactly who she is in terms of how we're meant to see her, or how the two characters are perceiving her. Like the impact she's made instantly. It's the music cue where we've got a heavy sax playing over walking, and then she walks by them, a close up on her ass, and then it pans out, and then it's the little steam train thing of like it's at that moment, it's like very much so like, I mean, you could maybe have done without the close up just on her ass.
Yeah, you could very much do without that, but
but you know, but it's one of those things where it's like that sax music cue, and then it's the odd little steam and the little steam and the steam train like.
Yeah,
like it's just.
Is that a reference to the thing with the grate, or was that after this?
It would have been. This would have been after the great thing.
Okay.
Because this was 59. I know she died in 62. So I know that she didn't do loads of other stuff after this. Yeah. So it would have been before.
Okay,
this.
that makes sense.
But I think also, I don't know, like it's just like a nice little like thing of being like I can't explain like what exactly that is referenced in terms of interpreting, but instantly it's like we know exactly Sugarcane before we even know her name.
Yeah,
Get it. And it's like even if you didn't know Marilyn Monroe, like for somehow, you didn't know Marilyn Monroe's impact on pop culture, and you just watched Some Like It Hot, you get it. You know exactly. Who she's meant to be instantly in this film, and but also what I like about her is obviously she's meant to be the object of attraction. Yeah. If we're going more specific with that. And again, sex symbol Marilyn Monroe. But her character in this film is never... she's not... I forgot her name. Violet. She could have well been a character of Violet from It's a Wonderful Life. But she's almost... She is almost a bit like... she does feel like an individual, almost. Like in the sense of like, she's her own separate character that isn't created just for Jerry and Joe to go after. Yeah,
because I think the way that they pull that off well in terms of the storytelling aspects of it in the script is that they have those moments with her where they actually talk to her as a person, and because of them being dressed as a woman, she feels more comfortable around them, and you find things out about her character that actually matter and actually impact the plot, as opposed to it just being
she's this object of desire. And the joke in their scenes is that they want her, but they can't because they're dressed as women.
Yeah,
the joke's there, but it's not at the forefront of the scenes because they want to make her an actually defined character, which I think they pull off pretty well.
Yeah, because again, this is it's a good commentary on the male gaze in a sense. I think. If we're going to be breaking down Some Like It Hot in any way, this is the way to be breaking it down and analysing it, which I think there is something there in the sense of the first time we see her is in a very male gazy way of like, of very much so for a bloke to go, ooh. Yeah. Like that's the way that we're meant, that she's introduced. And then the second time we see her, she's in the toilets. And the first shot of her is of her leg, of her putting a flask in her stocking band. Yeah. Again, a very seductive angle, to say the least. Again, another shot to make a bloke go, oh. Like, that's the way of, like, showing her. And then what proceeds to follow isn't her making sexual innuendos or her being ditzy, but her, like, accidentally stumbling into making, I don't know, jokes about any jokes that would be seen in a Carry On film.
Yeah.
or something like that, of like innuendos, like unintentional innuendos, and the blokes are like, ooh, anything like that. What we go on to find out is she goes like, yeah, I drink, but it's not the fact that I drink. It's like, I'm not a drinker. I can stop any time. I just don't want to. It's hard to stop when I'm feeling blue.
Yeah.
And it's like instantly there, we're like, oh, okay, she's quite a tragic character almost. And again, throughout the film, we learn in the fact how she, it's like she said as well about like when she starts talking to Tony Curtis as the millionaire, in the sense of when he goes, a musician, eh? Your parents happy with you? And she goes, oh, not at all. My daddy kicked me out and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, okay. So like you kind of see in the sense of like, she wanted to pursue her own type of thing. Dad probably was annoyed. Parents were probably annoyed. It's like, why are you going into something like that? That's not going to get you any money.
Yeah.
Type of thing. It's like she does have her own established character. And it always seems like, even though she's a part of the girl band when we meet her, she's just there because she's not one of the girls. She always does feel like outside of the group because she is the alcoholic of that lot, and if she gets caught, she would get booted off the train, which is where that link starts coming into it, where the flask drops, and then Jack Lemmon goes, "Oh, that's mine."
Yeah,
and it's like, and I see that in a way of, and I don't know, I read that in the sense of like Jerry's not trying to be like, if I do that, I'll get with her, but it's like
he's trying to save her, like he's trying to help out. Like
I know I know she's going to get kicked off the train if this happens. I don't want that. I'll just take the brunt for this. Yeah. Because it will work. And then he clicks where he goes, I saved a backside. And then he realizes, oh, I might get a chance now. Then that's when he starts thinking that way.
Yeah.
It's not all about sex for him instantly. It's like he's trying to be a nice bloke. And then he's also just a dude who just, who's like, well, I kind of fancy her. Let me try me luck here. Not,
yeah, exactly. It's again, not, but that's not the point.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
She's still got her own, like you said, those like kind of offhanded little lines which you could easily miss, but they imply a story to her, and and I think the way as well that Marilyn Monroe actually plays the character, like her performance generally, I mean it's helped by the scripts, but I think her performance is really good as being this kind of natural, down to earth girl. Like you can imagine her being a person that you know. Like
yeah,
it's, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry I interrupted you. I was just going to say, like, it is, like, again, it's Marilyn Monroe, who is iconic sex symbol Marilyn Monroe. Again, more so how the media portrayed her, not probably not how she actually was. Like, that's, like, which is another conversation about how media portrayal that we're not going to get into in this specific conversation. No. But there's, but you again, a filmmaker could be very tempted to portray Marilyn Monroe, the most attractive woman in the world, and all men don't stand a chance, type of thing. But she is very much so portrayed as a beautiful woman who also is someone that you could encounter in real life. Yeah. And someone that, like, again, anyone probably could have a chance with her.
Yeah, because she's just a down-to-earth, normal girl in the way that she's portrayed in this film.
Yeah.
Which I think is testament to both, like I said, to the performance and the way that she's written. Which I think, well, I mean, it's different for the time, really.
Yeah, no, I would agree, yeah.
It's not something you would expect in a film from the time, because I think this film, given the time period in which it came out, could have just been incredibly problematic to go back to now. It really toes that line and very much could be like, this is kind of not like acceptable anymore.
Yeah.
But I think it's the way that it portrays it works really well, and just completely gets that question out the window, because it just, you don't even think about it, because the way that it's pulled off is that, like, clever and witty and enjoyable in the first place, that you don't really think about it.
Yeah, again, because I think you're saying there like that's not really much for that time. I think I think the type of actresses that would have been given that specific role would have been more like an Audrey Hepburn or a Donna Reed, excuse me, in the sense of not quote unquote stunning women, but attractive women.
Yeah.
But I think it does like, especially this one, I do think it like is very beneficial in the sense of like, look, all women are the fucking same in that regard. Like it doesn't matter if they're drop dead bombshell gorgeous or if they're real world attractive. They can still have insecurities. They can still have their own problems. It's even that one moment where she goes to Jerry as Daphne, where it's like, I'm jealous on you. You're so flat chested. Your clothes would fit a lot better on you.
Yeah.
Type of thing. It's like, that's quite like, I don't know, like that moment. It's like, it's a little like throwaway jokey line in the sense like, well, yeah, you're going to get like found out in a bit, Jerry, if that type of thing. But it's also like, oh yeah, that's actually quite a real life thing. Even still, it's very modern. That's a very modern thing for a woman to say, I think, in the sense of, because again, I mean, I think everyone's the same bloke. I mean, and again, we're speaking from this as two blokes, so it's not like we can't necessarily be like, here's the woman's view on it, because not authentic at all. But everyone, like, but you know, everyone has their own like body insecurities, I think, in that sense. All blokes do, all women do, and again, it's like especially it is kind of refreshing to see again, very like Marilyn Monroe, who is being branded as having the perfect body and all that stuff, having this thing of like her saying like, I'm jealous of you, you're flat chested. And again, I'm not sure if she necessarily felt, I think she had her own insecurities, because I think in all honesty, I think she kind of like changed the face of pin-up models in the sense of before her time period, it was more of the skinnier type of like one, but then she came about, I think then she kind of like revolutionary. It's still a revolutionary in terms of the pin-up model in the modeling scene of more curvy women. Is how, and I think that's like, and I do think she's a very important player in all of this type of thing. I think this film specifically is a nice little it's a nice little encapsulation of her, I think. From what I've briefly researched on Marilyn Monroe, this is a nice little like thing to look at her at, I think.
Yeah, as a person, you can look at this film.
Yeah, and I think, and again, there's this I think this does very much so comment on the male gaze. Yeah. In a again quite unconventional for the time period, because again, for this time period, it would have just been like, women type of thing. But it's like all the blokes are all of them murderers or pervs.
Yeah.
A beanstalk, he's not really a perv. He slapped Daphne's ass. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yes. So but they're all idiots as well. So I think it almost plays into the parody. Like none of them are like, what a absolute lad. I think the least pervy one is the most level-headed one, which is Tony Curtis. Yeah. Like he's not trying to. I mean, when they see Sugar for the first time, they're both like, oh. Yeah. But there's Jerry trying to be like, oh, let me try and get in on that whole thing. Yeah. And then like Joe's like, calm it fucking down, man. And he starts liking her when they're talking, when they're breaking down the ice. And then he gets a little bit of like, oh, right, when she goes like, I've always fallen for saxophone players. And he's like, okay. And it's like he's introduced as the womanizer. Yeah. But he's not a perv with it. He's not creepy with it.
And I think what I quite enjoy is that you follow these two guys who, in their escapade of what they're doing in this movie, end up in this completely in a woman's world, in this completely different world to what they know. And by playing it from that perspective, it allows the film to kind of be more inclusive, because you see men from a woman's perspective, and everyone's a moron.
Yes. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And I think that helps it quite a lot in terms of what it's trying to do there, because Osgood and everyone is just is a perv or an idiot. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I think really, it like I said, it could toe that line very closely, but instead pulls it off in a lovely little way.
Yeah, because again, it's like they're in women's clothing. The first thing we see them is them struggling walking in high heels. So it's instantly like, fuck's sake, this is like how do they do this?
How do they do this? And
Yeah.
he's like, I'm drafty, I'm cold. They must be catching colds all the time.
Yeah, so it's
kind
like,
of thing, like
yeah, they're not instantly in women's clothing. They're like, oh, this is embarrassing.
yeah,
It's more so like, God's sake, how the fuck do they work this? Which, again, instantly right off the bat, it's like, yeah, we're dummies. Like,
Yeah.
we don't appreciate that type
Yeah,
of thing in
exactly.
that sense. And again, it's all, again, like, I caught on, like, instantly in the sense, and again, it's the thing that really, like, hits home with the point, not being preachy, but this line of dialogue says it all completely, like, sums it wonderfully. It's after the moment where Daphne first meets Osgood, and they're in the elevator, and then Hume gets his ass pinched.
yeah,
and then they're back, and then they go in the hotel room, Joe and Jerry, and Jerry's like, how the, like, I'm not even good looking. And then Joe's like, oh, you're wearing a skirt, that's all that matters. Really. And it's the line that said is, where is it at? I've got it written down. It's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. And it's like, that's still true even today.
yeah. It is.
It's
Like when I dressed up as a woman on Halloween when I went as Charlie's Angels, and I got my ass grabbed when I was in a club.
it's mental because again,
It's a thing. Like
as blokes, we don't see it because it doesn't happen to us.
yeah,
But like, it's amazing. Like literally, you stick women's clothing on, and then blokes just feel like they could just do fucking anything.
exactly. And it's
It's awful, but it happens. It's
Yeah.
stupid, isn't it? And that stuff like that, like, was really an eye-opening thing to me when I was first in a relationship, and just talking to just actually talking to someone who's like, yeah, that just is a thing. I'm like, what the fuck? That's awful. He goes, like, yeah, but yeah.
And it's a thing
like-
that you don't see unless you're the kind of terrible bloke that does that, or your mates are the kind of terrible people that do that.
Exactly, that's the point. Yeah, I'm not saying all blokes do, because I don't, and you don't. It's just a yeah, but it's like, you don't, as dudes, you don't know unless you see other people do it.
Yeah,
And it's mental. I do think this, like, really does have like a nice, like, message about that in a very, like, funny way. In a very, like,
in a very
Again,
nonchalant way, it has this kind of underlying thing about it.
yeah, again, it could have been very problematic if I say two blokes dress as women. It's like, no.
But it's not the joke for the whole thing.
No, they don't.
That's what's good about it.
Yeah, and they never do it in a sense to be like. That's the thing. They could have very well have been. It could have been quite offensive, I think, if they dressed up as women to try to get in a band to pick up some women.
Yeah.
But the original proposal of that was originally going to be so we can just get a job. Like, that was originally good. That was the original reason for them doing that. Was like, we need money.
Yeah.
Like, that's all their intention. Which, if they did that anyway, that would just, I still think that would have been an acceptable thing to be like, okay, then
still
I can
would have
understand.
worked.
But then the reason why they go into it is because we're gonna get fucking murdered
Yeah.
if we don't do this.
Which
So-
again is that escalation
exactly,
of the comedy.
Yeah,
It
like,
all
'cause
works very well.
it adds more of like an arc to it, which is also, that's another brilliant thing. You almost forget why they're doing it until they get to the hotel and you see the spats.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, him. This is the reason why we're in this situation.
Yeah.
Again, it's a really smart script. I really wouldn't mind reading the script, actually.
I think this is another one of this is a very much the conversation where when we're talking about it, I'm liking it the more that I talk about it, because the more we are talking about it now, it's very much it's a well-oiled machine of a script.
Yeah.
Like everything meshes together very nicely to tell one nice, fun, witty, cohesive story with layers to it.
That's what I mean. We started this off being like, there's not really much to break into this. It's just a funny screwball film. And here we are. And it's like, there's a commentary on the male gaze in this film.
Yeah.
It really is. I'm not
Pulled
saying
off incredibly well. I mean,
it doesn't really... Yeah.
It might not be intentional, because for the time, it probably isn't. You know, things like that weren't really talked about in film at the time. So it probably isn't intentional. But the fact that you can look into it is just a testament to how well written and well directed the film is as a whole, I guess.
Definitely. Yeah. No, that's why I think it's one of my favorite comedies, because I laugh at so fucking much.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big thing. I get hooked on the Joe and Jerry character. Like, I'm just love him. Marilyn Monroe is fantastic in this.
She is really great.
She's really good. And again, it's like, it's very refreshing to see. Again, I haven't seen her in any other thing. I don't know her in any other film role.
Yeah.
But I know of Marilyn Monroe, and I know of, like, you know, the perception that people have of her. I know, like, of the fucking JFK scandal thing and all that shit. And, like, media representation of her, of just being someone just associated with sex. But I think this film, it leans into it, but there's a lot of the film taken up of just having her talk and just be, and they acknowledge that she's a beautiful woman, but that's not, but it's like, again, it's like, and it's, I like the fact how the person that she gets hooked on, because again, she initially starts thinking to herself of like, I want to marry a millionaire. Again, very self-centered mindset, very selfish thought. And she gets hooked on Joe as the millionaire first, because he's a millionaire and he's playing a bit hard to get with it all. But then she gets more invested and attached to him from when he's doing this story about like, I've never been able to experience love since that moment or whatever. Like she ends up falling for him more because he's opening up to her. It's a fake story. It's false. But that shows that she grows more attached to someone that's more trying to be opening their emotions to her. Like breaking down barriers. And I think that, and again, similar way how Joe got attracted to Sugar because she started being a bit, first of all, she was like, I seem to fall for sax players. And he was like, oh yeah. And then she ends up they end up just talking more. And then that's when he's a bit more like, no, I think I like Sugar for this moment type of thing. Like, again, it works so well just as like a nice laid piece in that sense. And when it gets to it, I'm more hooked on those two getting together, because I'm like, I buy that she likes him and he likes her. Yeah. For who they are, which is very coincidental in the fact of like,
it's a very strong theme within the film.
She didn't know the real him until the very fucking end.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I like it.
Yeah. And that's all I can say about Some Like It Hot as of now, I think.
Yeah. Same with me.
Sweet. That was our discussion on Some Like It Hot. Overall, I fucking love it. Still one of my favorite comedies. And you liked it more.
I did like it more, and I've liked it more the more I've talked about it and the more I've thought about it. And it might be one of those that has to marinate with me.
Yeah, and you might not watch it again, but
for another year, I might not watch it again.
But you know what? That's all right. But that's all right. Let's move on to some trivia. I was going to say
fun film facts.
Fun film facts. This one isn't as extensive of a trivia as the past few, but it's still some interesting. Then again, last time we did talk about Citizen Kane, which is so much to delve into that. Excuse me, but right. A lot of it is more Marilyn Monroe based, actually.
Okay.
Marilyn Monroe required 47 takes to get "It's Me, Sugar" correct. Instead of saying either sugar, it's me, or it's sugar, me. After take 30, Billy Wilder had the line written on a blackboard. Another scene required Monroe to rummage through some drawers and say, "Where's the bourbon?" After 40 takes of her saying, "Where's the whiskey? Where's the bottle?" or "Where's the bonbon?" Wilder pasted the correct line in one of the drawers. After Monroe became confused about which drawer contained the line, Wilder had it pasted in every drawer. 59 takes were required for this scene, and when she finally does say it, she has her back to the camera, leading some to wonder if Wilder finally gave up and had it dubbed.
How? How are those the lines that confused her? What?
I don't even know. I don't even have these.
Oh, right. I'm just like baffled by that.
There's moments where we might get frustrated because, again, as two film students who just imagine putting ourselves in this scenario.
I'd be fuming.
Again, this is film. We want to remind ourselves this is film they're shooting on.
Oh
Not
my
doing
God.
they're not doing digital. This is film. So,
oh Christ, that's horrendous.
Jack Lemmon wrote that the first sneak preview had a bad reaction with many audience walkouts. Many studio personnel and agents offered advice to Billy Wilder on what scenes to reshoot, add, and cut. Lemmon asked Wilder what he was going to do. Wilder responded, "Why, nothing. This is a very funny movie, and I believe in it just as it is. Maybe this is the wrong neighbourhood in which to have shown it. At any rate, I don't panic over one preview. It's a hell of a movie." Wilder held the next preview in the Westwood section of Los Angeles, and the audience stood up and cheered. That's something that I think that is helpful for us to know.
Yeah.
That you definitely can't just get one viewpoint on a film.
Yeah.
It's like everything that I've heard about test screenings.
Yeah.
Big blockbusters have unbelievable amounts of test screenings nowadays. And some of the stuff that comes out of them, like, they get anyone and everyone to be in there, and some people are so stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was a thing, I think it was the first Wonder Woman, where someone said that she needed an animal sidekick or something. And they seriously considered a long time for her to have a talking tiger, like, as an animal sidekick in the film.
A talking tiger?
Yeah, in the 2017 film. Why?
Yeah, I can't remember. I think David Fincher hates test screenings.
Yeah. David F. Sandberg's got a really good video about it on his YouTube channel.
Oh, right. I need to watch that.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, that's also a thing where, like, someone might be like, that's bullshit. But then you need to show them that film again to someone else. And maybe they're like, I like that. You need to get, that's what I mean. You need to get multiple, like, opinions on things.
Yeah.
Upon its original release, Kansas banned the film from being shown in the state, explaining that cross-dressing was too disturbing for Kansas.
Jesus.
Which, I mean, that's
Shut up,
awful.
Kansas.
Shut up, Kansas. When Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon first put on the female makeup and costumes, they walked around the Goldwyn Studios lot to see if they could pass as women. Then they tried using mirrors in the public ladies' rooms to fix their makeup. And when none of the women using complained, they knew they could be convincing as women. There is a scene on the train recreating this moment.
That's excellent.
So, just imagine that. And you're also like, I was going to say, but if it's on the movie lot, would they still be like, it's like, no, they still would, because it's blokes in a women's bathroom. So even if they were like, oh, it's just Tony and Jack, they would have been like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
But no.
See, that's another thing with the disappointment that there was no sequels to this. Because they clearly, as a duo on screen together, they clearly like each other.
Oh,
They clearly got on and clearly had fun doing it. So
yeah, and it's interesting because I think Tony Curtis was more known as a dramatic actor, and Jack Lemmon wasn't massively well known at this point.
My dad, the only thing my dad said this morning when I said that I was doing a podcast on Some Like It Hot was a quote from Tony Curtis that he told me, where he was asked how he felt about being married to a woman who was about 30 years younger than him. Because he was like 70 at this point, she was like 35. And apparently he just said, if she dies, she dies. Which is very funny, but also...
But that's...
irrelevant.
Yes.
I needed to get it in the podcast somewhere. I don't know why I thought that was the right place to say it, but that's all my dad had to tell me. He was like, make sure you mention this. There you go, Dad. He's not going to listen to this anyway, but
Yeah.
there you go, I mentioned it. It's a stupid
Jesus
quote.
Christ.
Sorry, continue.
That's brilliant. Marilyn Monroe wanted the movie to be shot in colour. Her contract stipulated that all her films were to be in colour. But Billy Wilder convinced her to let it be shot in black and white, and when costume tests revealed that the makeup that Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon wore gave their faces a green tinge.
Ugh.
Yeah, so they're like, no, we need to have that in black and white. Can't have that. Yeah.
Ew.
That's, yeah. Stories of the difficulty that cast and crew had with Marilyn Monroe during the making of this film have grown to almost mythical proportions. In the farewell telephone conversation between Monroe and Tony Curtis, her side-to-side eye movements clearly revealed that she was reading her lines directly from an off-screen blackboard. According to Curtis, Monroe was routinely 2 to 3 hours late to the set and occasionally refused to leave her dressing room.
Why?
Again, I don't know any more details, but that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently if they grown to almost mythical proportions, I'm curious to what else was even talked about.
Yeah, no, that's really strange.
Speaking of a strange bit of trivia involving Marilyn Monroe,
Go on.
supposedly when costume designer Ori Kelly was measuring all 3 stars for dresses, he half-jokingly told Marilyn Monroe, Tony Curtis has a nicer butt than you, at which point Monroe pulled open her blouse and said, yeah, but does he have tits like these?
Excellent. Good on her. That's brilliant. That is so good.
It's like, at that point, it's like, well, you trumped the deck there, like nothing more can be said.
Yeah, that is confidence to the max. Good on you. That's excellent.
Jack Lemmon got along with Marilyn Monroe and forgave her eccentricities. He believed Marilyn simply couldn't go in front of the camera until she was absolutely ready. Quote, she knew she was limited and goddamned well knew what was right for Marilyn, he said. She wasn't about to do anything else. He also said that although she may not have been the greatest actor or singer or comedian, she used more of her talent, brought more of her gifts to the screen than anyone he ever knew. And I think that sums her up pretty well, because again, she's not amazing acting in the film. She's not hilarious in the film. And when she does sing, I'm not like, fuck, that's an incredible voice there.
Yeah.
But everything that she does, it's all like elevated and it all just feels like it's all top of her game and it's all like on great. It's on all of an excellent level, I think.
Yeah. I agree
like,
with that, yeah.
Yeah, like again, but what's interesting, I think she trained with Lee Strasberg, who Hyman Roth from Godfather Part 2.
Yeah.
But obviously more well known as the theatre practitioner who brought forward method acting.
Yeah.
More so. So so she trained under his tutelage, which I think says a lot in the sense of if she goes by that sense, and if she's been a bit difficult, she might be trying to really get in the mindset of a character, but if she's not necessarily completely capable of doing it, maybe that's where she might be more insecure. Again, I'm just throwing assumptions out here.
Yeah.
I get just from reading those sections there and knowing her background in training with Lee Strasberg, I think she probably felt that she might have let the crew down if she didn't give her best performance, which is probably why she probably took forever.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Who's
that's
to say?
that's how I perceive that though.
Yeah.
Because again, from brief research I've done of her, she doesn't come across as like self-centered or like up her own ass.
Yeah.
But
Weird.
yeah. Tony Curtis was signed first, but United Artists pressured Billy Wilder to cast a bigger box office name than Jack Lemmon for the second male lead. Once Marilyn Monroe signed on, Wilder was able to cast Lemmon.
Excellent.
And I'm fucking glad that was the case.
Yeah, because he is probably the best part of this film.
I couldn't imagine the film without Jack Lemmon. In all honesty, he's got like, he does almost have that Jimmy Stewart like likability to him, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
In the sense of like, I just like seeing Jack Lemmon on screen. He's just fucking like.
I don't think he's quite
guy.
Jimmy Stewart. He didn't strike me in the same way that Jimmy Stewart did in It's a Wonderful Life.
No.
But he has that same kind of similar charm to him.
Charisma.
Definitely. Charisma.
But like he's almost got like real charisma in the sense of like he's not like. I can imagine he's not going to be one basically that women are going to look at and go like, whoa, what a stunning bloke.
Yeah.
But he's almost got that presence about him where I still wouldn't be surprised if he could probably pull a few just because from how like unabashedly like confident in himself. That's always the vibe I get him. He's like, I don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks about me. I'm me.
Yeah. And he's just going for it.
I'm Jack fucking Lemmon, and how can you not like me with a name like Jack Lemmon?
Exactly. Excellent stuff.
Jerry Lewis was offered the role of Jerry/Daphne, but declined because he didn't want to dress in drag. When Jack Lemmon received an Oscar nomination for the role that Lewis gave up, Lewis claims he sent him chocolates every year to thank him and now regrets not taking the part.
What? There's no way. He said, actually, maybe. I don't know. You could send a box of chocolates once a year, I suppose. Yeah. I could see that, yeah.
Is that the thing you're questioning?
Yeah, that was the questioning bit, yeah. It's like, would he send him a box of chocolates every year? Yeah, he probably would, actually, yeah.
Is Jerry Lewis come up in another trivia? I'm sure
I'm sure he has.
I feel like I don't know. Either way, this one's a bit of a chunky one. This one's a kind of a sad-ish one, but I'll read it anyway. After shooting was completed, Billy Wilder threw a celebration dinner at his home for cast members and friends. Marilyn Monroe was not invited. The crushed star had to have it explained to her that she had cost the production roughly $500,000 with her delays and unprofessional behaviour. Wilder had generally unkind things to say about her after this film. When asked if he would do another project with her, he replied, "My doctor and my psychiatrist tell me I am too old and too rich to go through this again." After reading some of the things Wilder said about her in print, Monroe called his home and told his wife to please give her husband the message to go fuck himself. Wilder changed his tune later, commenting, "It takes a real artist to come on the set and not know her lines and yet give the performance she did." A year later, at the premiere of The Apartment, Monroe threw her arms around him, told him how much she loved the picture, and whispered that she would like to play the lead in Irma la Douce from 1963. The role would eventually went to Shirley MacLaine.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's
a weird little battle that they had over a few years, it seems like.
Yeah, and reading that there, I think it's because we talked about Citizen Kane last time and how we would like to see like making of films about like that. Yeah. That would be a very interesting biopic to look into, like Wilder and Monroe's relationship. Yeah, like, that just feels like that would like be an interesting piece, to be fair. But yeah, I don't know who you get to play Marilyn Monroe. I mean, no, who's playing her? Ana de Armas is going to be playing her in a film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forgot I don't think the film's about her.
Yeah.
But she's Ana de Armas is in a film playing Marilyn Monroe.
Right.
So
Okay.
I think Marilyn Monroe is an actress where you just need an actress to be like, you'll need someone to just become Marilyn Monroe as opposed to like someone looks like Marilyn Monroe, because I don't think anyone necessarily does.
I feel like ScarJo could probably do it.
Yeah, probably.
She could probably pull that off.
Yeah. And the final bit of trivia, this is a small bit, but Frank Sinatra missed the opportunity to play Jerry when he didn't show up for a lunch date with Billy Wilder.
What a weird film that would have been.
Yeah.
What a weird choice. No.
Tony Curtis and Frank Sinatra. It wouldn't have have done it. No, because there's no. Again, you don't have that you don't have that goofy charm about it.
Yeah, no.
And you know what? It's weird. I'm just thinking there. Because I think the charm of Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon. I think that this is going to sound weird, but I think those two looks-wise together, you get the impression that they would have had to be friends from a very young age.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if you put Sinatra and Curtis, it just looks like two handsome blokes that probably are just workmates. That's just the impression I would get from that. Whereas like the dynamic that Lemmon and Curtis have, it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if you knew each other since school.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just like, yeah.
There's an age gap there as well, isn't there? Or, I mean, that looks like anyway, because Frank Sinatra has always looked older anyway.
I know Tony Curtis was born in 1925, and so was Jack Lemmon. So,
why do you know that?
Because I looked earlier today. I looked up like how old they were. I don't just have that knowledge. Yeah, Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was 10 years older than Tony Curtis, so it would have been like
it'd have been really. Yeah, no, I don't like that at all.
So what? It would have been like a 34-year-old Tony Curtis and a 44-year-old Frank Sinatra, which would have made it even more weird when 44-year-old Frank Sinatra in drag is trying to just really creepily pull Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
I think that's also where it works best as well, where Jack Lemmon more has like this, not goofy look to him, but more of like a...
boyish.
Yeah. Where it's like, when he's trying to pull Marilyn Monroe, it's almost a bit of charm.
Yeah.
Whereas if you got just a quote-unquote it would
just
come
be
across
creepy.
Yeah, it would be like, dude, lay off. Calm
down.
But yeah, that's the trivia of some.
Very nice.
Again, not loads, but
some interesting stuff in there.
Yeah, I want to look more in. Again, I want to look more into Marilyn Monroe as a person.
Yeah,
and like just generally as like her story, because I read a little bit about her before coming on here, and I think I read she first married at the age of 16, so she didn't have to stay in a foster home.
Oh my god!
Because I think I don't know really what happened to her dad, but I know apparently her mum was heavily mentally ill and quite abusive to her. Right. And then she just went from orphanage to orphanage, and apparently she wed at the age of 16, so she didn't have to be in that type of thing anymore. And again, I think I skimmed a little bit through it, but I think she got into film because she got in a relationship with a photographer, so she became a model through that way, and then she just had a look, and I think that's just how it.
Oh wow.
Picked up again, fascinating story.
Very interesting, yeah.
And obviously, the whole conspiracy things are did she get killed off because of the president and all that?
Yeah,
like that. It's all interesting stuff that I do really want to delve into, actually.
Yeah.
But anyway, with that said, let's go into some negative Letterboxd reviews.
Oh yeah,
the best one from the last one was "Fuck you, Mr. Horgan."
Yeah, excellent. So good.
Right. All these... Oh, no, there's only one star, but the rest are half a star reviews.
Okay.
So, first one, half a star, terrible movie, not funny. I have a feeling this is going to be it's going to be a theme with this.
Yeah, probably. I don't find this funny.
Okay.
Okay, well then, watch something else.
Yeah.
Shut up about it.
Half a star. Boy, this was such a drag. I hate it.
It's not.
No, do you get it?
Oh no. Oh, that's terrible. That's horrendous. Jesus Christ.
It's not even funny, man.
Yeah, it's not even funny.
Half a star. No!
Sorry, I was taken aback.
It's just-
Jesus, made me jump.
It's just all caps. No!
Why?
That's literally the review.
Any comments? Any replies?
No.
Fucking what? Oh, Jesus.
Half a star. This film is a rapey, sexist monstrosity. The only thing that saves it is Marilyn's presence. What's the one comment? Thank you. I didn't want to watch it, but I felt pressured because there is Marilyn, and now I know that it's okay if I avoid it. Okay, right.
I'd say that it's. I mean, it's. I don't. It's. Depends on your perspective, I suppose.
Again, my thought in it is, again, as I said earlier, all the weirdos they're idiots.
Yeah.
Like no perv is like, aha, they're in the right there.
Yeah, no.
It'll look like, and it's also like, I do think it's more of like, again, as I've said before, it becomes a bit more of an eye-opening thing in the sense of like, again, when Osgood just like pinches fucking Jerry's ass.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, I'm not even good looking. And he's like, yeah, you wear a skirt, that's good enough for them.
Yeah.
Again, I think
like they're played off as being stupid. That's the joke with it. It's not. Yeah. I suppose it's completely up to the young person's interpretation as to whether they want to see it as problematic.
Exactly.
I don't particularly see it as such.
Yeah, I don't think it like this. Again, this thing could have like this could have been very problematic in the sense like, oh, is it making a joke that they're dressing as women? But there was never a joke about that.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure I agree with that.
Yeah. Half a star. Meh. Thought, though I cracked up in a few scenes, the farce fell flat as the tragedy dragged. It's meant to be a joke as
right.
tragic.
Okay.
Marilyn stars as a ludicrous bimbo who aspires to be a gold digger. She acted effortlessly and won the Golden Globe. Right. Again, I guess you can look at it in the sense like, yeah, she was after someone because of the money.
Yeah.
But again, you could almost read that in a sense like she never did have the money. So she probably wants to aspire to marry someone who is rich so she can just be.
Yeah.
Then.
Because she even says, like, if my mother could see me now sort of thing. She says that. That's a line in the movie.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't. No.
Again, and I also think that, like, again, I do think the point's contradicted in the sense that she gets more hooked on him when she learns more about him. Which I think, because I think everyone has this instant barrier of judging people on how they look. And when you ask people sometimes, what's your type? They instantly just tell you their appearance.
Yeah.
And people always have this thought of like, what my perfect other half would be like. So immediately you're after something in your head, but you end up growing to love someone by getting to know them more.
Yeah.
And breaking down a barrier thing.
And that's the point.
And I think that's shown very well within that whole thing. And also, if you say, though I cracked up in a few scenes,
it's not half a star then.
That's not half a star. Again, I judge that all the time.
I cracked up in a few scenes, so it's instantly 2. Like, you know.
1.5 at the least, I think.
Yeah.
Half a star, not my thing, I guess. Fair
enough, mate. Good on you. The most competent review we've had.
So far, yeah.
There's
been no funny ones as well.
No, there hasn't.
Half a star. So annoying. Okay.
You're so annoying.
Oh, this is the same person. Someone did the... half a star. Annoying, bothersome, disturbing, irritated. Disturbing?
Disturbing?
What did you watch?
If it's the same guy, then, like, does he really seriously despise this film.
No, do you know what's amusing? The first
Go on.
review that I said they posted, I don't assume gender here, was posted on the 14th of February 2020.
Right. It's Valentine's Day. That's sad.
And then the other one that I just read was the 28th of December 2019. So this person first watched it on the 28th of December 2019, found it disturbing,
Yeah.
and then stuck it. I assume it was a date. I assume it was a...
Yeah.
If that's the case, I assume this person didn't on their own sit and just went, I'm going to watch again. That film I fucking hated.
Yeah. I imagine it was a date for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And
And
he
so
found it
annoying.
So
Yeah.
annoying. Like,
Again, create a little arc there. Their profile picture, is that Goddard?
oh God, what?
Yeah, their profile picture is Jean-Luc Godard.
I'm waiting for like a Citizen Lame. like a more like, I don't know, bum like it's not or something like that. Just like something really stupid. I'm waiting for it.
I want to do a shirt now with bum like it's snot, with us two photoshopped on Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon.
That would be brilliant. Get the merch made.
Who would be who?
Oh, that's a really tough question. I don't know.
We're our own unique act. I don't think we necessarily fit into Jerry.
No, we
or,
don't.
Or Jerry or Joe.
Yeah.
We'll ask
No,
Julia. We'll ask Julia.
Well, ask Julia. She'll know.
She doesn't know me that well, but
Yeah, she does.
no, she knows. No, yeah,
She
knows.
does.
And again, I don't know how much you've talked. How much? I like to think when you do meet with her, I'm just the centerpiece of the conversation. all the
It's
time.
you are always the topic of conversation with me and my girlfriend. It's all we talk about.
Nothing else.
It's
just me.
it's you and Leo. all we talk about are my other two love affairs. You and Leo.
Amazing, brilliant. It's always the case, isn't it? If you're in a relationship with someone, they're always third wheeling with you and your mate. It's always the case. It's never the fact. It's never the fact of your mate's third wheeling. It's like,
Oh no, it's never that. I'd like to just give a shout out to Julie because I know she will definitely be listening to this one.
yeah.
You're the
Big
best. Good on you.
Big shout out to Julia.
Big shout out to Julia. Thanks
We
for
need-
putting up for me.
We need her on an episode for Summit.
Oh, we do. We
I
really
have
do.
I do have an idea for Summit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Anyway, half a star. Comedy ages like milk. Dreadful.
At least they were inventive with it. That's good.
Yeah. You know what?
I like that one.
So
That's
far,
the
that's
best one so far. Yeah.
It's not. It's. I mean, it's. I wouldn't necessarily say it's Hall of Fame level.
No, it's not Hall of Fame.
But you know,
No, it's not bum like it's not.
which is one that Robert, you need to get a Letterboxd, so you can just do that shit. but you would give it like 4 stars. Bum like it's not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure I saw one person, like, I've seen reviews of like 5-star reviews for films, and then they just like do a shit review.
More like bum like it's not.
Half a star. Extremely tiresome Criterion release. Oh, okay, so they're saying the Criterion release of the film wasn't great. I can't say I didn't watch the Criterion.
No idea.
I rented it on Prime. That's how I watched it. Right.
For legal reasons, I cannot say how I watched the film. Let's continue.
Half a star. CW misogyny. Sorry there.
Sorry, man.
words there. Prototypical early men dress as women. Isn't that hilarious? Bullshit attempt at comedy. The ending is kind of cute, but this one should be left at the bottom of the dustbin of history. And that's what we talked about earlier, where it's like, I don't think it does fall into that, though.
No.
Because the joke is never, look at them as women.
Isn't that dumb? It's
The
not
joke-
that. That's not.
The joke is like, they're disguising as women, and they're trying to blend in as women.
Yeah.
That's where the joke comes into it.
Yeah, like they're not outwardly going to be people in drag. And the joke isn't the fact that they are people in drag, and isn't the fact that drag is so funny. That's not what it is. It's two guys that end up in this ridiculous situation in which they have to be in drag, and it's the situation that's funny.
And the joke is never like when they reveal they're two blokes dressed in drag. The joke is never like, like characters don't find out and they go, wait, what? It's always like when people not even many people find out. It's only
like the mobsters at the end.
The mobsters who are more concerned at the fact of, bless you.
Thank you.
The mobsters who are more like, get the people so we can kill them.
Yeah.
And Sugar, who's more like, oh, Joe. And also Osgood, who's like, well, we're all not. It's like, well, no one's perfect.
Yeah. Like, it's just a fun time. Everyone calm down.
Yeah. And finally, 1 star. A film is confused about its identity as the main characters. The film itself switches genres like the main protagonists flop genders. It meshes together in a random hodgepodge of shots that come together to form some sort of film. But hey, Marilyn Monroe is in it at least. So the theme I'm getting from most Letterboxd reviews here is, love Marilyn Monroe, but fuck this film.
Yeah.
That's the negative reviews at least I get from it.
Very strange.
But yeah. But again, I don't. It's the point isn't like, am I a man or am I a woman? It's That's not the point. They're never once like that.
Yeah. So there you go.
What was the best one? It was your one.
The best one.
It was yours. Bum like it's snot. That was.
Yeah. The best one that's going into the Hall of Fame this week is Robbie Tweedale with the review Bum Like It's Not.
There you go. I'm not even crediting any other ones in this.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I guess the best one's probably like comedy ages like Milk Dreadfully.
Yeah, but
which is fine. It's only good because it's inventive.
Yeah,
or
but
just that's quite a good one.
No. There was that arc about that dude
who
that
watched
it twice.
I hated it both times to a point where he had to do a Letterboxd review twice. Jesus Christ.
I don't think I've ever negatively reviewed something twice.
No, there's no point.
I think if I made a diary entry on it, I might have put still shit. But but
it's like when I watched Batman v Superman for the first time in a while, and I tweeted about it. But no one cares.
Yeah.
and I could tell from the likes that I got on that tweet. But I'm pretty.
That's what I mean, Robbie. You need to get a Letterboxd and post.
I do.
And post it like that.
Yeah.
All my other mates don't use it often.
Dawn of Just Shit. Am I right? Wait, that was terrible.
We need to do a video, right, where I go through some of my favorite Letterboxd reviews, where I just where we just scroll through them. Like, kind of how, those videos that read shitty comments on something or whatever, we just go through a load of Letterboxd reviews that I'm a big fan of.
Yes. That sounds brilliant.
There you go. That'll be a video that we do when we somehow have time.
When we're next to each other and when we haven't got things to be doing.
But yeah, that is all the discussion on Some Like It Hot. I enjoyed this one. I didn't think we would have much to... I mean, this is a shorter podcast, but... I thought this would have been fairly quick in the sense of, I guess there's not really much to talk about.
Yeah.
But we found quite a bit to talk about within this. That leads us on to the next one, Robbie.
Yes.
The next one, you know what? The whole goal for this season of Intermission, was to... explore some of the films pre-70s, because that was the earliest film at this point. We did one from the 50s, which was 12 Angry Men.
Yes.
But primarily we did the 70s, and then a bit of the 90s where we did Godfather 3 and Jurassic Park. But we want we wanted to do a good amount of films that were more from the more classic era, the golden era of cinema, golden era of Hollywood. So we thought 50s, 40s, etc., etc., etc. But one thing we've also noticed, Robbie, is we haven't done a foreign film yet. We've all done English language old school films. So I recommended to you, Robbie, for the first one that we break into, we do one of my top 3 favorite films of all time. And we go over to the East. We go to Japan, Robbie. We go to 1954 and we go to Seven Samurai for the next discussion.
Yes.
3.5 hours, Robbie.
I'm very excited about it.
I'm well hyped for this. Again, I've kind of ruined my thoughts, but it's not a secret. If you go on my Letterboxd, you see my top 4 on Letterboxd is 12 Angry Men, Her, Seven Samurai, Before Sunrise. So
yeah,
and I've never discussed this. I think the most I've discussed Seven Samurai. Get my enunciations in line there, Oscar.
Very good.
I did a video 5 years ago talking about my favourite films of all time, and that was in there. And that's the most I've done. But I'm well looking forward to this. Because I've only seen this twice as well. I would have thought I would have seen this more. But
I'm looking forward to it from film history perspective because I know the legacy of this movie. And also from a Star Wars perspective, because I know it was big influence for George Lucas in terms of making Star Wars.
Well, technically, The Hidden Fortress which was the another Kurosawa film, but obviously we're going to talk more about it in that one. But obviously, this one was, the Magnificent Seven. Everyone, it's Seven Samurai. It literally is Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
Magnificent Seven.
Remake.
Magnificent Seven is a remake of Seven Samurai. I remember I was being that guy when the new Magnificent Seven was coming out, and people were like, "Oh, well, I've seen the original." I'd be like, "The one from 1954 with the, do you mean Seven Samurai?" And they just gave me the look of like, "What do you mean?" And I'm just like, "Oh, hang on, there you go."
I'm back.
We made it. We almost did it.
Come on.
Yeah, I would always be that guy where they're like, "Oh, I've seen the original Magnificent Seven." I'm like, "Do you mean Seven Samurai?" And then they're like, "Shut up, Oscar." I'm like,
well, that's the original.
So
that new one wasn't very good.
Well, I didn't see it.
I saw it at cinemas. It was really boring.
I at least want to see the original Western film.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's still got a lot of people. Anyway, that's not it.
Sorry. Discussion for another day.
But yeah, that was Some Like It Hot. Enjoyed it thoroughly. And the next discussion will be on Seven Samurai. I don't know where you can watch it. I don't to just everyone out there. I don't think it's on any streaming. I don't rent it, get the BFI Blu-ray, do whatever you want.
Yes.
But yeah, so
Discuss
that has
it with
been
your legal team.
But that has been our discussion on Some Like It Hot.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm going to tell people, links, just everything you need in the description. And there's no real Dad Oscar thing for me to say, because, And, everything we said last week, that.
It applies.
Yeah.
We're recording these in bulk beforehand to break the illusion. So we don't know how you're feeling in January. Hope you're good.
Yeah, hopefully we're fine.
Yeah.
Should we get? I'll shout out Reese Bruce, who is at this moment in time.
Oh yeah.
Within tier 4.
Jesus Christ.
So Reese, I hope to see you by this point. I should be seeing you in January. So
bless that man.
Fingers crossed to you, mate.
Yeah.
Malate. I was going to say lad, and then I was going to say mate. So I just went Malate.
Fingers crossed to your son. I've got a message from you that I need to. I've literally 3 minutes ago. I've been sent a post on Instagram by Reese. I've been sent a meme. So good on him. I'll open that as soon as we stop recording this.
He does that with me all the time. Anyway, everyone.
Great. What a man.
Anyway, everyone. Everything. Make sure to check out all the other podcasts we've been doing and all the commentaries and such. And get ready for the next episode, which is about Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. So next time, Robbie, do an outro.
It's goodbye from Stephen Wolf. It's goodbye from me. Is it goodbye from you, Oscar?
It's definitely goodbye from me, Robbie.
Excellent. I'll see you next week, mate.
Bye.
Bye.